Welcome. I'm really excited to have Fable here today. And Fable's going to read us his poem, which is about regret and shame and also about personal growth as well. Yeah, just an opportunity for you to tell us a bit about the backstory to your poem, Fable.
Yeah, so this poem is called Terrifying Truths. It's in a brand new collection called New American Monarch, which is available wherever you want to order and buy books. There's also an audio version on Audible. Uh, and I'm excited for y'all to hear it. It's a true piece, and I hope it resonates with the people who need to hear it.
So you're from over from USA, Michigan as well, just to throw that in there. And you've done quite a lot of poetry, and we'll go into that a bit more after your poem. So yeah, I'm just gonna hand over the stage to you. Really looking forward to hearing it, Fable.
Thank you.
Terrifying truths. Today, I'm meditating on a terrifying truth that there are more suicides at the Golden Gate Bridge than any other single place in our country. More people travel there to end their story. Flesh-coated iron and someone's favorite heartbeat venture to this location from all across this trauma-ridden sphere to crash through one of the world's largest mirrors. The Bay. This structure, an undeniable magnet, it pulls matter from all corners of the globe, drags blood out of its home, attracts with the promise of wind rushing around you, cradling you vigorously as every frantic last breath pushes back at nature like a non-violent protest, a coin toss enticing you with one final look at yourself in the reflective face of the ocean. Fact. I've contemplated taking my own life 1,000 times. But there are two reasons I've never considered this route. One, because I am terrified to death of heights. Even the thought of crossing bridges makes my palms secrete fear, and if I was to stand at the edge of life and had a heart attack before I closed this last chapter, that'd be one last thing I couldn't do right. And two, because I am sure that during that final gaze into the water's truth, I would see all of my abusers reflecting off the surface. I'd be reminded of not only how I got there, but of my own terrifying truth. That my face too may appear in someone else's final moments. And that is something I deserve to live with.
That was beautiful. Such a relevant topic as well, suicides, and to hear your personal story in there with it as well, and how you've considered and contemplated suicide as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to say what that poem meant to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Ricky. I'm somebody that has a rather complex life. I'm now 5 years sober, but for a majority of my life, I was a man that didn't know how to say that I was struggling. I didn't know how to cope with stressors in healthy ways. So for a majority of my life, I drank about it. And I was somebody that caused a significant amount of harm. I was somebody that was messy, somebody that got in a lot of fights, somebody that grew up being forced to be made small through trauma. So I tried to feel large by taking up space in ways that weren't healthy to those around me. And it wasn't until I found poetry, creative writing, that I felt like I could give, a voice to the things that I was struggling with, and in the shame that comes with holding all of the mistakes that you've made, the times where you feel like you've fallen on your face. And I think that it's really easy, to focus and to make other people a villain, but it's hard to notice when you've been the villain in somebody else's story and to hold that and to learn from that. And I feel like that's what that poem is about, is the juxtaposition between those two things.
And by recognizing old habits, being able to change them, I can clearly see how far you've come from that as well. So it's really great to see, and really inspiring as well to be in the position where you can talk about that and talk about the shame, because shame's often something that holds us back. And by recognizing the things you're shameful of, I can see the growth in that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. That's really affirming.
Also, I wanted to touch on one more thing. So you're a poet yourself, and in Michigan they hold competitions, and you become the youngest and first Black poet laureate. I don't know if I said
Yeah.
that word right. I've tried my best.
No, you killed it.
Yeah.
The From 2017 to 2020, I was the poet laureate of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm from Michigan, the little state shaped like a mitten.
Yep.
And in our state, the first biggest city is Detroit. The second biggest city is Grand Rapids. And it's actually not a competition. It's almost like being knighted. It's
Mhm.
like a title they bestow upon you. And my laureateship was 3 years. During my laureateship, I was the first person without a college degree to be poet laureate in my city's history, the youngest in city history, and the first person of color, period. Well, especially the first Black poet laureate. And that's something that, I hold really, really dear. During that time, I used the momentum from becoming a poet laureate to start a nonprofit. And that organization ended up growing to become a $2 million organization. My last year leading the organization raised $6.5 million to create a multicultural arts center, and did that while my wife was dying after a 4-year battle with cancer. And at the end of that journey, had to step away because I was just mentally burnt out, shot, in and out of inpatient facilities. But I guess I say all that to say sometimes people don't realize the power that they have and what all they can do. And even if you're somebody like me who's been diagnosed with bipolar, depression, anxiety, you can truly impact the lives of those around you if you put yourself into it. And if you share your story like you do with this podcast. So, again, I want to commend you for sharing your story and also your platform.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Fable, and I appreciate you for coming on and for all the work you've done to help others. You were telling me a bit more before this about the work you've done with children as well, and I mean it's really inspirational. And to hear some of the struggles you've had as well, and the way you turned that into such positives, it's really inspiring. And I'm sure for so many young Black people that will watch this, the inspiration that they'll get from you as well, and being the first Black poet laureate. Got that word right again, smashing this. It's really inspirational, and yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us on here and sharing it with everyone that you already have, I'm sure.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And again, amazing show. And I really appreciate you for sharing your platform.
Cheers, Staple. All the best. Goodbye from over in England as well.
Hey, see you from the States.